the Trios Locos, the Tres Amigos. I think you said it more Anglo than I just did right there.
Yes, I did.
And the Trio of Mischief. That one I can say in any language. Gentlemen, how are you?
We are here with El Jefe right there.
Yeah.
No. He's El Jefe.
Andrew Monaco, the voice of the Aggies. Dave Elmendorf, the legend. What's up, sir? I'm going to give you a fist pound, and Will, you get one too.
Air, going all the way.
Is this one with twin powers? What is this?
Well, when you guys are here, I feel like now it's the official kickoff of the season, right?
That's what we felt like.
We're close.
We said the season's here if we're jumping on TexAgs.
Yeah, I love when you guys came in last year. I wish we could do it every week, but you guys are very busy, so we just do it when we can. Let's get into it. I'm going to start off with you.
Why?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I see these guys more. I want to start off with you.
Okay, what do you want? What's the
Where
question?
are you with this team now after all the offseason, the 8 months waiting, the changes that have happened? How, I don't want to say excited are you, but where are you in regards to how good this team can be?
Last year, I said we were going to be good. We were going to be young, but we were going to be good. This year, I've added a caveat.
Okay.
I think we're going to be really good if we can stay healthy, because injuries last year just kind of killed us. So I'm very optimistic about this season as long as we stay healthy. We're a year older. We're healthy now. We've got a lot of talent. And I'm not sure we're as good as we're going to be perhaps next year when we get even more experience on the team. But I think we're going to be really good if we can stay healthy.
You know this. I don't know if you know this. They call me next year Nuno because for the last 2 years I've been like, next year's the year. But the reality is this year could be the year that sets up what you're talking about.
I think that's exactly right. And this could be the year. I think we're going to be that good. This could be the year, but I guess it depends on what your goals are.
Right.
I think this is going to be a real good football team once again if we can stay healthy.
Will, your thoughts on just where we are and where we're going?
You're supposed to be cautiously optimistic right now. I think I've blown past that. I don't know if I could be in a better place about this team as we get ready to go next week. I'm like Dave. I did think we'd be good last year, but the injuries did play into that. But that baptism by fire for so many guys because of the injuries is going to pay off this year. I mean, I look at each position unit and I don't know where do you find problems. There's talent at each position unit. I get with the running backs, you lose a really good talent in Devon Achane. He's already turning heads in the NFL, but it's not like there's a lack of capable bodies back there. There's plenty of guys. I love that the offensive and defensive line probably go 3 deep in the trenches. You have guys to go 3 deep along the lines of scrimmage. That's kind of where it all starts. I look at this group and I guess I am cautiously optimistic to say it, but I say, where's the weaknesses?
Mr. Monaco?
Yes, sir.
I think you were like all of us. And I know this because you've been on the show 100 times. We all thought last year would be better.
Yeah.
It wasn't. This year, we have reasons to believe that last year was just a blip in this run.
Right. The thing that the outside narrative was, oh, what about the culture? If the culture was so bad, would Anais Smith come back to this culture?
Right.
Would Damani Richardson come back? Layden? We talked about the guys who came back. The guys who came back are the right guys, and they're the leaders. The transfer portal guys fit. That's important. You can't just go grab guys out and say, oh, make it work. And you had, as much as last year is still labeled with 5 and 7, I get it. The effect of last year and the players from last year who got that baptism by fire that Will talked about are now impact guys as they're playing. They realize, as we've talked, when you get that confidence and you say, hey, I belong in the SEC, I belong on this field, I think that goes a long way. We talked about the quiet confidence. The other thing that jumps out to me is always, what do teammates say about other teammates? And when they are raving about other teammates, I think that says more than any kind of recruiting paper can talk about. And I love the way these teammates talk about one another. And I think camp this year was different from last year. It was very different, where they weren't going to slip. Like, you have to have a little bit of a memory of last year. You have to have it. But you have to change. And I think camp was completely different this season. I don't think there were wasted days at all. I think there were rarely any wasted periods. out there in camp because the players were holding each other accountable.
Did you all notice, because I noticed it, I brought it up a couple different times, there's a concerted effort for this to be a team, a family. I see the guys when they're doing drills, everybody's slapping each other's hands. It's like, it's in unison. There's I'm not saying that doesn't happen all around the country, but I felt like it was a different way of doing it. It was like every coach was going down the line, high-fiving, like during warm-ups. Did you guys notice that as well?
Mm-hmm.
They like each other.
Yeah.
and that's the key. As an old player, I'm going to tell you, it is all about team. It's not about individuals, and I think last year we got into some of that individual stuff, and I think those problems are gone, and this is truly a team. The old adage, there is no I in team, and there isn't, and I think this team is very close, and it could change. Don't misunderstand, but what I see out there, and I've been to a lot of practices, I've been to every scrimmage, what I see out there, these guys like each other. These guys are ready to play. They want to win. We've got a lot of reasons to be excited about this season, and not that there won't be issues. There will be. But I think this team has the leadership and now the maturity to overcome some issues they might not have overcome last year.
And one thing I like that they're saying is when people ask them, are you on some sort of redemption tour after last year? Is this a revenge tour because last year didn't go their way? They say, no, that's not really what we're thinking about. They're kind of a mouth shut, head down, let's go to work operation right now. And with the season looming, that's exactly where you want the head of your team, the mindset of your team right there. They don't talk about redemption and proving everybody wrong after a 5-7 season. They just kind of say, let's keep quiet, let's go to work, we'll prove it by the end of the year.
To that, I don't know if you heard my opening segment, but I kind of went on a little riff. Jerry Palm predicting like the demise of Bobby Petrino because he and Jimbo can't work together. There's no information about that at all. I don't know where that kind of hot sports take starts, right? We've seen the interviews. We've seen their body language. You guys are close. What does it look like? And I'm not just saying those two, just that entire staff. What does it look like, Andrew?
Jimbo lets his coaches coach. That's the one thing. You see Bobby mostly with the quarterbacks. You see Jimbo behind that offense talking to everyone. Look, when you go from camp mode then to week mode where the ones and the twos are going against the scout team of New Mexico because we're going to come into that, you're talking about everything has to be perfect, where that scout team has to be perfect and be in the right position because you got to give this offense a look. Same thing with the defense. Again, it's all coming from the outside. It's not coming from the inside. They get along. Look, you add an analyst like Jim Chaney as well. That's another set of eyes right here. It's not like those three go into a room and start arguing about whose is better. They know that they've got the talent and work with Bobby Petrino working with the quarterbacks to say, hey, I've got to get in your mind to see what you do best. It's not top down. I think that's what these people think, top down. If Bobby Petrino, this is the thing that gets me on the national, the narrative of all of that. Bobby would be the head coach if we're going to have all of this, right? He understands where he is. I thought his meeting with the media was perfect. Mm-hmm. It laid everything out. But no, Jimbo will always let his coaches coach. DJ Durkin has that defense. Elijah Robinson has that D-line. They all get to coach, and that's back to what Dave was saying about liking one another. But you want to talk about liking. It's more like loving their coaches because they're bringing out the absolute best in these players.
Gentlemen, let's talk QB1. We don't know who it is yet, right? I'm sure we all have opinions how that could play out, but just that quarterback room overall, if one were to go down, the other one's there. And we've seen on this team the last couple of years, you need more than one. Dave, you want to start us off?
I think Connor Wigman will be the quarterback.
Yeah.
I've said this a jillion times, but he's got the quickest release I've ever seen. And as an old DB, that is very important for that offense. It gives the whole defense less time to react. But Max has been great. I mean, he's looked really good in practice. It's a hard decision, but I think Connor's going to win the job. But with Max a close second and a good backup, and definitely we're going to need that.
And I know Dave, turnovers here. Can't turn the ball over. Whoever it is, neither of them does it. I mean, Connor threw 8 touchdowns, no interceptions as a freshman last year. Max, all his years of college football, LSU and A&M, I think it's 38 touchdowns, 7 picks. They protect the football, so I think either way you're okay.
I'm really excited about the rapport that whatever quarterback has with the receivers. Will and I were able to talk with Connor Wigman in the 12th Man Productions, and we were talking about, it's going to be really neat from this point here in the summer. You're going to get rapport with your receivers where Evan Stewart or Noah Thomas can come to the line and just wave his hand or wink or something and know. And he said, we already have that. That's exciting. The other story that I really like, and I heard this yesterday at practice, was that win against LSU, last game of 2022. They were itching to play again. They wanted another week. It wasn't available to them. That was the end of the season. But that's the group that decided we're going to do something special together. So that season ended in November. They wish they could have kept on playing, and that's why I think they're carrying all of that into this 2023 season.
Let's keep it with you. Year 2, Durkin. Year 2, Adazio. We saw Durkin in year 2 at Ole Miss. A&M saw it up close and personal. That defense was salty. What do you expect with after these players understanding the system, understanding the expectations, and the voice that is coaching them?
Yeah, I think it's that understanding and knowing. I think it's also being able to talk. That D line can talk to McKinley Jackson as well as Elijah Robinson. I think that back line can talk to Damani as well, and Jordan Gilbert. I don't want to leave the other guys out. I think that understanding where you can now tweak with one another and not wait for it to come top down from DJ Durkin. And DJ's got the linebackers as well, which is deeper than I think it's ever been here at Texas A&M. I think that unit is so prideful. They know, okay, we stopped the pass last year. We have to stop the run. We can't give up big plays. So when they give up big plays to this offense in practice, they go right to the next one saying that can't happen again. That's the kind of things, like they kind of accepted it last year. Okay, that's okay. There's this mindset of we have to get better, and they're working at getting better. But I think as a unit, the thing that gets me, and Dave might agree, the communication on that field is at a different level that you're always hearing the offense talk to one another. You're hearing the defense talk to one another. I'm not talking about the coaches saying what needs to be done. They are talking with one another. I think that is more of the understanding of that defense.
Dave, you've been in locker rooms. You understand the importance of understanding the voice, right? Year 2 can be a big deal to especially young players.
What Andrew's talking about is a function of experience. They've got some more experience, a lot more experience on the field, basically because of what Will said. Last year, the younger players were forced to play because a lot of the older players were out with injuries. So now everybody understands better what the goal is and understands better how to get there. And that's going to be so beneficial, I think, this year, once again, if we can stay healthy.
Will, is there an area that you're concerned? You got your eye on. I want to see how this develops.
Going back to what I said earlier, I don't have a lot of concerns about a position unit. There's talent up and down every room in the Bright building, and it's the right guys, like we've talked about. It's the right guys in the program right now. I don't have concerns. I have intrigues. How do you replace Devon Achane? Because he's not just a rusher. He's just unbelievable at everything he did. Reuben Owens is new. We've seen a little bit of Amari Daniels and Le'Veon Moss. Reuben Owens is new. I just have intrigue to see him because he's new. On the back end, I have intrigue of how do these – it's sort of a storyline with me that 3 transfers come in from the same conference, the ACC. Is Josh DeBerry going to start? Where does Tony Grimes fit in? Sam McCall's the younger one, so we'll see how he progresses. But that's just intrigue to me. I just want to see how all that pans out once we get to New Mexico and beyond. But it's not concern. I don't have a lot of concern about any real position unit out there. You mentioned the linebackers. Andrew did. I think after last season, you might have said, where does the linebacker depth come from? Well, I think they found it. Tarian York's really good, it turns out. Damian Sanford's a freshman that's turning heads. Martrell Harris has played. You have the Jackson State transfer and J.D. Davis. I think they found that depth at linebacker. So there's not real concern about any position unit for me. I don't know if I'm supposed to say that before the season starts. Right. But look, that's where I am. That's where
you feel good.
Right. Yeah,
you feel
exactly.
good.
Well, everybody wants to focus on the running back, and rightfully so. I mean, the running game is so critical to the offense. The scrimmage last Saturday, or the Saturday before, Amari Daniels was a beast. I didn't see you guys, but I was there, and he had a great day, I think. So I'm really optimistic about our running game. We know the offensive line is going to be good. I mean, if they can stay healthy, that's my mantra.
Yeah.
But the running game is going to be good. I think our passing game is going to be outstanding. Our defense is going to be salty. Our special teams are good. You win with there's 3 parts of the game: offense, defense, special teams. All of them have the opportunity to be extremely good if we can stay healthy. And I think our coaching is solid. I think, and everybody feels good about all 3 phases. So now all we got to do is go play a game.
Go do it.
David,
We've waited long enough.
what do you do when it's not practice? What do you do when it's not camp? So when you see guys change their bodies, that's what they're doing on their own. They know that it can make the impact. And the number of players who change their body who are stronger. Amari Daniels is a classic example. He is a strong running back now. Noah Thomas is stronger than he has been before. Evan Stewart is stronger. And even all the linemen, even all the guys on each of the lines kind of change their body to be stronger and quicker. When you have that kind of buy-in, if you will, on that aspect of this game, it's why Jimbo talks about guys who love ball. Shamar Turner, he talked about he loves ball, right? And that means everything, not just every rep. What are you doing in the weight room? What are you doing? That's what you're seeing more, I think, from this team.
How important, and I think this year with the depth at the line it's important, but it's not as important. But how important is Bryce Foster to that offensive line? Because without him, we notice the difference.
Again, we've talked about this. He's an all-SEC center, and could be one of the best in the country. Just again, corporate knowledge. He's been on that offensive line. He's got rapport with that guy to his right as well in Lane Robinson. Now, as I tell you, here's the good news, bad news. Miss some time. Well, there's Mark Nabu right there. And you're not missing a beat with it. And that kid has played everywhere. Again, Kenyon Green,
Right.
not just does that helps the Aggies here, it's going to help Mark Nabu on the next level. But I think Foster just, again, knowing what to do, having that, I think that's the thing that was so special about the Maroon Goons in the past was how cohesive they were, right? It was as a unit. And I think they're way closer to that now as an offensive line, being that complete unit.
Any thoughts on the line? I know you spoke. Anything about the line?
Just about last year, and I keep going back to this, you lose your center, you lose your starting quarterback, and you're with a very inexperienced freshman quarterback. So now you've lost all communication on your offense. People don't understand how important that center is, communication of that offensive line, and how important that quarterback is, communication with everybody else. You've got no experience at either of those positions late in the season last year. You lose your communication, you lose your offense. And that's what happened. As an old player, I'm telling you, that's exactly what happened. And we can't let that happen again. I don't think it will, because now we've got experience at both positions.
All right, watch this. Can you come back for one more?
I can, David. I'd be happy to.
What if he says no?
One time he did. One time. But he stayed anyway. So.
Well, we'll stick around.
All right. We'll come back more here on TexAgs Radio. The Trio of Mischief with us here on the program. I have to look because there's 3 different names.
Yeah.
Did that name come up organically on the when you were guys doing a broadcast, or just here on the show?
We started with 3 amigos, and we was like, you know what?
Yeah, tres amigos.
And the Trios Locos was, and somehow all of our wives have input on this. Like they said, you guys
That's
are.
right. That's where I thought it started. I thought Laura named us first.
I believe that's true.
Yeah.
That was
Let's blame it on her.
Sure. But
I was saying give her credit. He said either way.
Let's talk Evan Stewart for a minute. He became our number 1 in our 23 and 23. We had this process where the subscribers voted. Billy had a list. I had a list. Olin and we kind of came up, and Evan ended up being our number 1 player this year. A lot of that based on potential. A lot of that based on what we saw last year, too, because this young man, his ability to go jump in the air and get balls, his ability to look at his numbers in what was it, 10 games he played last year? If he played 2 more, he has the same numbers Xavier Worthy has at Texas. You went up against some elite wide receivers. What do you see in Evan Stewart?
Exactly what you just said.
Yeah.
I mean, he is so talented, especially with his ball skills. I mean, you can't be a wide receiver at any level if you don't have speed. He's got good size, but his ball skills are just off the charts. I mean, he goes up and gets balls, takes them away from defensive backs. That's a nightmare for a DB. Oh, I've got to cover him. But he's going to get a lot of double coverage, which is going to open up the field for other players to shine as well. So it's not just about how many catches he gets, how many double coverages does he get that opens up other guys for opportunities to catch the ball.
These guys know I talk about it till I'm blue in the face, explosive plays. You have to create them in college football these days. Evan is that type of guy that can go downfield and turn a 50-50 ball 70-30 in favor of the Aggies. The only thing about Evan is it's not just Evan now. Moose Muhammad can do that. We hear about Noah Thomas, one catch a day in practice is highlight reel going up over somebody and taking it away. And then you know what Anaya Smith can do. And Bobby Petrino with that FTS, find the studs. Well, he's got the studs, but Evan is very much a part of that group that can create explosive plays that you absolutely have to have as an offense in college football today.
I think that maturity as well of having a year and being so successful. But he doesn't have to be the guy. I think that's the biggest difference with this receiving core is if you want to take Evan Stewart away, you still have to deal with Noah Thomas. And when we're saying this sentence and we're saying Anaya Smith third, because that's not the case, I think you have to know where zero is at all times. Yep. But they're all game breakers. They can all change the game with one reception. But the ability to have that 50-50 ball leads to the confidence of the receiving core, but also the confidence of that quarterback that you know that your receiver is going to come down with it. All of them can do that. Ja'Day Walker can do that. Micah Tease can do it. Raymond Cottrell can do it. Jordan Anderson can do it. Andrew Molesky can do it. This receiving core, you don't have to throw the same three receivers out there. And when you have that kind of depth and the special talents that they have, it really leads to an effective passing game.
We talked about him at the break, but let's do it here on air. McKinley Jackson. and just
McKinley.
He's a guy that you may not recognize the stats. You may not even notice what – coaches notice what he does, right? And NFL scouts are certainly –
NFL scouts. Yeah. He's going to be paid. He's going to be paid because that's the new position in the NFL. Defensive tackles are now getting paid there. But it's just everything, as Dave talks about the line. And if you are going to try to just put a single lineman on him, good luck. You're going to have to double. Now, if you double, now the matchup favors Texas A&M. I remember talking with Jimbo about Buddy Johnson was raving about the work that Justin Matabike was doing up front and just making all the tackles and giving him all the praise. And Jimbo said he should. It makes the linebacking job easier. But McKinley Jackson being in that first unit, David, it's more than just the plays he's going to make. It's the way he works on technique with his line mates, the way he works on technique with the offensive linemen to make them better. I just think he's something special and someone that Elijah Robinson gets to trust out there, but the line mates get to trust. And you're going to see a lot of guys shine because McKinley's going to be doing a ton of work. He's going to be drawing the attention to let others players on that defense shine.
Will, the rush defense last year was significantly better when he got back out there. Mm-hmm. They're going to need that all year long this year.
Oh, my goodness. It has to improve, but like you say, with health, with experience, it will improve. And I keep going back to the fact that they're three deep now. I don't know if A&M's been three deep on the defensive line at any point in time in the SEC. Some good players. Probably you could roll in a second team and not lose a whole lot, but when you can roll in three deep and be fresh with those bodies in the fourth quarter, that's when you get worn down with the run game, second half, fourth quarter.
Right.
But when you're three deep, you're still stopping the run in the fourth quarter because you have fresh, big bodies out there still.
Let's don't forget about Walter Nolan.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, McKinley's going to be outstanding, but he's got some teammates that
help him.
Are going to it's once again, it's a team game.
Yeah.
And that front is going to be really good, as Will said, really deep, and you went up front.
Can I say this very tongue-in-cheek?
Sure.
Ready? David, what do you know about playing with a good front four?
Deacon Jones, Merlin Olsen.
But you've always said that front four made the back seven so much better. Right?
At any level.
Yeah.
At any level. The guys in the back know that if you're good up front, it's going to make your job a whole lot easier. They're going to get pressure on the quarterback. He's going to have to rush the pass. That makes it easier for you as a DB.
Guys, let's close out with this. Why not Texas A&M this year? And I set it up with that saying, Bama's got questions.
Sure.
LSU's got some defensive questions they got to
Sure.
deal with. Mississippi State's got some questions. Ole Miss certainly's got questions. Like Auburn's got a new coach. Why not Texas A&M? You start us off.
Well, the answer is why not? There is no why not. The Aggies, I think, are talented enough, well coached enough, motivated enough team. There is no reason why not, to me.
I love that.
There isn't. There's not. I said it earlier. I'll say it again. I don't know where true concerns are at any position unit. There's depth, there's talent, and there's the right people at every position unit. It's dangerous to say it preseason, but forget it. I'm going all in. There's no reason that it's not A&M this year.
I was with the Magic, and Rich DeVos was the owner, and they went to the NBA Finals. And how can an expansion team do it in 6 years? And Rich DeVos, and the mantra became, why not us, why not now? Why not us, why not now? With that experience, I think, is the game changer as well for Texas. I didn't realize that lack of experience. I kept looking at the talent part, but not the experience part last year. This year, you have that experience, and I think the maturity as well and the leadership. So why not us, why not now?
Tell the folks about your new show. You got a new podcast, right?
Andrew Monaco show. Yeah. We had Vern Lundquist yesterday.
How about
was
that?
a blast. Yeah, an awful lot of fun. We've got Tom Hart coming up.
All right. That's
As
my buddy.
well. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And just a blast to be able. That podcast with Vern could have been double the length. It was just, Will knows he can tell some stories. And when Vern says, I have a story on this, you just let him go. It was fantastic. The only thing missing, I wish I was in Steamboat Springs doing it one-on-one.
Where can people get it?
That is on 12thman.com/podcast, but Apple, Amazon, Spotify as well. If you look up Studio 12, our new podcast network, you can find them wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Appreciate you,
You're
buddy.
kind to do that. Thank you, David.
Thank you very
Appreciate
much.
it.
Gentlemen, thank you so much for coming in, Dave and Will. I appreciate you guys very much.
Thank you.
It was
Appreciate
great
it.
being here.
Yep.